Montenegro. Montenegro, land of black mountains, land of stone villages and emerald bays, land where medieval walls meet untamed wilderness and the Adriatic Sea kisses the rugged shore. Imagine a small country with the soul of a giant, rich in beauty, steeped in history, and pulsing with quiet pride. Welcome to Montenegro, a hidden gem of the Balkans, where every corner holds a story and every view steals your breath. Tucked between mountains and sea, Montenegro offers a landscape of dramatic contrasts. In the north, jagged peaks rise above alpine meadows and glacial lakes, untouched and majestic. The Tara River Canyon, one of the deepest in the world, carves through dense forest, a haven for rafters and dreamers alike. In the south, the coast unfolds in a series of postcard-perfect scenes. Ancient towns like Kotor and Perast, nestled along the Bay of Kotor, their stone walls reflected in still blue waters. Nature here feels sacred, powerful, and close. From the quiet beauty of Lake Skadar, where herons glide above lily-covered waters, to the wild wind-blown trails of Durmitor National Park, Montenegro invites you to slow down, breathe deeply, and connect with something raw and real. But Montenegro's charm goes beyond its landscapes. Its culture is a rich blend of East and West, Orthodox and Venetian, Slavic soul, and Mediterranean warmth. In the villages, time moves gently. Church bells ring out over terracotta roofs, and locals greet you with strong coffee, rakia, and open hearts. Traditional music, lively dances, and centuries-old customs still live on, passed down through generations with pride. Whether you're wandering the labyrinthine streets of a medieval town, hiking through pine-scented mountains, sailing into a hidden cove, or dining on fresh seafood with the sunset at your side, Montenegro reveals itself slowly, not with grandeur, but with grace. It is a land that doesn't shout to be noticed, but once seen, is never forgotten. Budva, Old Town, a stone-walled gem cradled by the Adriatic, where history echoes down narrow alleys and every sunset paints the past in golden light. Nestled along Montenegro's stunning coast, Budva Old Town, Stari Grad, is a centuries-old heart wrapped in sea breeze and timeless charm. Surrounded by thick Venetian walls, this ancient settlement has stood for over 2,500 years, shaped by Illyrians, Romans, Byzantines, and Venetians. Its labyrinth of cobblestone streets leads to hidden courtyards, quiet chapels, and sunlit squares where cafes hum with life and laughter. Each turn reveals a new texture of stone, a splash of bougainvillea, a whisper of a forgotten tale. Overlooking the azure waters, the citadel offers panoramic views and a powerful sense of place, where land meets sea and past meets present. Within the walls, churches like St. John's and Holy Trinity echo with sacred stillness, while boutique shops and art galleries celebrate local craft and creativity. At night, the old town transforms. Music spills from wine bars, soft light glows on limestone walls, and the Adriatic sparkles under the stars. This is Budva Old Town, walled, weathered, and wonderfully alive. A coastal soul steeped in history, beauty, and endless Mediterranean rhythm. Ulcinj, a sun-drenched mosaic of cultures, winds, and waves, where east meets west on golden shores, and every sunset feels like a promise. Perched at the southernmost tip of Montenegro, Ulcinj is a town unlike any other on the Adriatic coast. Vibrant, historic, and deeply soulful. Its old town, a walled citadel perched above the sea, is a labyrinth of narrow alleys, white stone houses, and echoes of Ottoman and Mediterranean heritage. Minarets rise beside churches, and the scent of strong coffee and grilled seafood drifts from shaded courtyards. This is a place where cultures don't just meet, they blend in every brick and breath. Ulcinj's coastline is legendary. Velika Plaja, Long Beach, stretches for over 13 kilometers, the longest beach in Montenegro. A wind lover's paradise for kitesurfing, sunbathing, and barefoot freedom. Nearby, the Adabojana Island, formed by the delta of the Bojana River, offers raw natural beauty and a laid-back bohemian atmosphere. With its large Albanian community, Ulcinj pulses with a unique energy, one of openness, resilience, and living tradition. It's not just a destination, it's a feeling. This is Ulcinj, warm, wild, and full of contrasts, a southern soul on Montenegro's coast, where the past whispers and the sea sings. Perast, a quiet jewel by the water's edge, where time drifts as slowly as the boats in the bay, and every stone tells a story of seafarers, saints, and sunsets. Nestled along the shores of the Bay of Kotor, Perast is a tiny town with a grand soul, rich in Baroque beauty and Adriatic charm. Though small in size, Perast once commanded great importance. Its sailors, shipbuilders, and merchants were among the most skilled in the Venetian Republic. Today, the legacy remains in its palaces, church towers, and elegant facades, all lined up along a single, quiet road where the sea laps gently at the steps. Offshore, two iconic islets float in the bay, the natural St. George Island, cloaked in cypress trees, and the man-made marvel Our Lady of the Rocks, built on centuries of devotion and legend. Boats drift between them, carrying visitors and prayers beneath the vast sky and still waters. Perast feels like a dream, slow, golden, and poetic. Perast, serene, storied, and full of soul. A place where the mountains meet the sea, and the past is always just a breath away. Novi, a sun-drenched gateway to the Adriatic, where stone stairways climb through centuries, and every breeze carries the scent of sea, pine, and orange blossom. Perched at the entrance to the Bay of Kotor, Novi is a coastal town full of charm, history, and Mediterranean rhythm. Founded in the 14th century, the town has worn many faces: Ottoman, Venetian, Austro-Hungarian, and each left its mark. Fortress walls still crown the hills. Canli Kula, with its open-air stage, Forte Mare rising above the sea, and Spanjola, guarding the town from the mountainside. Together, they tell a story written in stone and salt. The old town winds with narrow alleys and hidden courtyards, shaded by palms and bright with bougainvillea. Church bells echo softly, and cafes spill into sunlit squares where life moves at a warm, gentle pace. Novi is also a town of healing, home to natural springs, sea spas, and the lush Savina Monastery, where peace lingers beneath ancient cypress trees. And just offshore, hidden coves and nearby Lustica Peninsula invite swimmers, sailors, and seekers of the sea. Novi, terraced, timeless, and kissed by sun, a coastal haven where history meets horizon, and every step feels like summer. Sveti Stefan, a dream rising from the sea, where pink sand beaches meet medieval stone and luxury lives in the rhythm of the waves. Perched on a tiny island off Montenegro's Adriatic coast, Sveti Stefan is one of the country's most iconic and enchanting sights, a vision of history, elegance, and timeless allure. Once a 15th century fishing village, Sveti Stefan was transformed into a walled retreat for royalty, artists, and film stars in the mid-20th century. Today, the island is home to a world-renowned resort, carefully restored to preserve its red-tiled roofs, narrow cobbled streets, and centuries-old stone houses, all linked by a narrow causeway to the mainland. Across the water, the mainland beaches of Sveti Stefan and Milokje curve gracefully under pine-covered hills and olive groves. The former royal residence of Queen Maria of Yugoslavia now forms part of the resort, adding regal charm to the lush coastline. Though the island itself is private, the view alone, especially at sunrise or sunset, is worth the journey. Framed by turquoise water and golden light, it looks like a painting brought to life. Sveti Stefan, exclusive, iconic, and endlessly captivating, a place where Montenegro's past and present meet in perfect sunlit harmony. Black Lake, a mirror of mountains and mystery, still, dark, and breathtakingly serene. Nestled at the foot of Mount Durmitor in northern Montenegro, Black Lake is the crown jewel of Durmitor National Park, a place where alpine beauty and legend come together in perfect harmony. Surrounded by dense pine forests and framed by rugged peaks, Black Lake is actually two lakes, Big and Little, connected by a narrow strait that changes with the seasons. Its waters reflect the ever-changing sky and the towering presence of Medjed Peak, creating a landscape that feels both peaceful and powerful. Locals speak of myths and mountain spirits, and it's easy to see why. The lake seems to hold ancient secrets in its depth, especially at dawn or dusk, when fog drifts across the surface and silence blankets the forest. Black Lake quiet, haunting, and unforgettable, a mountain lake where nature whispers and the soul listens. Ostrog Monastery, a white sanctuary carved into the cliffs, where faith clings to stone and miracles seem to echo in the stillness. Rising high on the vertical face of Ostrog Mountain, between sky and valley in central Montenegro, Ostrog Monastery is one of the most revered pilgrimage sites in the Balkans and one of the most awe-inspiring sites in Europe. Built in the 17th century, the monastery seems impossibly nestled into the sheer rock, as if grown from the mountain itself. Its gleaming white walls contrast with the rugged grey cliffs, creating a vision that stuns both believers and travelers alike. It is dedicated to Saint Basil of Ostrog, whose relics rest within, said to possess healing powers and draw thousands of pilgrims each year from all faiths. To reach it, visitors often walk the winding, steep path in silence or prayer, surrounded by sweeping views of the Zeta Valley. Inside, the cave-like chapels are filled with icons, candlelight, and the scent of incense, a sacred stillness that invites reflection, no matter your beliefs. Whether you come seeking a miracle or simply a moment of peace, Ostrog offers something beyond words. This is Ostrog Monastery, miraculous, mystical, and humbling, a place between heaven and earth, where the rock holds the spirit and the silence speaks. Starry Bar, a fortress of ruins wrapped in mountains and memory, where crumbling walls hold centuries of conflict, faith, and resilience. Tucked beneath Mount Rumiyah, just inland from the modern coastal city of Bar, Starry Bar, Old Bar, is a living relic of Montenegro's turbulent, layered past. Once a powerful stronghold and bustling town, Starry Bar was shaped by Illyrians, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Ottomans. Its remains, city gates, stone towers, church ruins, and aqueducts are scattered like whispers across a rocky hilltop, surrounded by olive groves and the distant sound of birdsong. Wandering through the ruins, you can feel time breathing. The old clock tower, the remnants of Orthodox and Catholic churches, and the quiet majesty of the Ottoman hammam all speak to a town that once thrived and fell, only to remain proud in its silence. Starry Bar, weathered, watchful, and full of echoes, a mountain-bound memory of Montenegro's strength standing still beneath the sky. Tivat, a coastal blend of elegance and ease, where luxury yachts rest beside quiet bays and modern glamour meets Mediterranean soul. Nestled in the heart of the Bay of Kotor, Tivat has transformed from a sleepy seaside town into one of Montenegro's most stylish and sought-after destinations. At its center lies Porto Montenegro, a world-class marina and lifestyle complex, a playground for super yachts, chic boutiques, fine dining, and sunset cocktails by the water. Yet beyond the polished decks and designer stores, Tivat retains a calm, local rhythm. Seafront promenades invite evening strolls, while quiet coves and beaches offer a moment of peace, beneath olive trees and mountain views. Tivat's charm lies in its balance, modern but not overwhelming, refined but still rooted in tradition. The Botanic Garden, with plants gathered from across the globe, speaks to its naval history. Small villages like Donja Lastva and Gornja Lastva, perched on the hills above, still echo with stone houses and Adriatic spirit. Tivat, stylish, serene, and full of light. A coastal town where the new shines brightly, but the soul stays beautifully grounded. Kotor Old Town, a labyrinth of stone and shadow, where every step echoes with centuries, and every corner reveals a secret whispered by the past. Nestled between steep mountains and the still waters of the Bay of Kotor, the old town of Kotor is one of the best preserved medieval cities in the Adriatic, wrapped in ancient walls and timeless wonder. Behind its fortified gates lies a world of narrow alleys, sun-dappled squares, and quiet churches, all built from golden stone, weathered by sea air and history. Gothic and Romanesque facades stand side by side, with highlights like the Cathedral of St. Tryphon, a masterpiece of faith and endurance, and the graceful Church of St. Nicholas, where candles still flicker under vaulted ceilings. The city's soul lives in the rhythm of its streets. Laundry swaying from balconies, cats lounging on warm cobblestones, and echoes of bells that mark the passing hours. Small cafes offer espresso and stories, while local artisans keep ancient crafts alive behind wooden shutters. Above it all, the fortress of San Giovanni climbs the mountain like a spine of stone, a 1,300-step journey that rewards the bold with one of the most breathtaking views in the Balkans. This is Kotor Old Town, walled, weathered, and full of soul. A living museum where history isn't frozen in time, but woven into every breath. Njegoš Mausoleum, a monument in the sky where stone, silence, and soul rise above the clouds. Perched atop Mount Lovćen at 1,660 meters, the Njegoš Mausoleum is not just a tomb, but a symbol of Montenegrin identity, pride, and poetic spirit. Built to honor Petar II, Petrović Njegoš, poet, philosopher, bishop, and prince, the mausoleum crowns Montenegro's sacred mountain with quiet grandeur. To reach it, you climb 461 stone steps that wind through windswept rock until the world below fades and the sky opens wide. At the summit, two granite giants guard the entrance, and a soaring statue of Njegoš, carved from dark marble, sits beneath a golden mosaic ceiling. The structure is bold, minimalist, and deeply powerful, like the man himself, who wrote of freedom, honor, and the struggle of a small nation standing tall. Step outside the mausoleum, and you're met with a view that feels eternal, sweeping across mountains, sea, and the very heart of Montenegro. In that wind and silence, something ancient stirs. Njegoš Mausoleum, solemn, soaring, and sacred, a resting place above the clouds where a nation's soul watches over its land. Biogradska Gora, an ancient forest whispered by time, where mist curls through primeval trees and silence is broken only by birdsong and the rustle of leaves. Tucked in the heart of Montenegro, Biogradska Gora National Park is one of Europe's last true wildernesses, a rare jewel of untouched nature and quiet majesty. This is one of the few remaining primeval forests on the continent, where some trees are over 400 years old and rise like green cathedrals into the sky. Within the park, dense beech, fir, and maple create a living canopy that shelters over 200 bird species, bears, wolves, and wild boar, a thriving ecosystem preserved in its natural harmony. At the heart of it all lies Biogradsko Lake, a crystal-clear glacial lake reflecting the forested slopes and alpine peaks beyond. The trail that loops around its shore is peaceful and enchanting, offering an easy walk beneath towering trunks and beside mossy stones. Biogradska Gora isn't grand in scale, it's grand in spirit. Here, nature feels intimate, sacred, and deeply alive. Biogradska Gora, timeless, tranquil, and untamed. A forest that breathes with the past and invites you to slow down, listen, and simply be.